Okay, for the today's particular part that we will learn is band pass filters. In the earlier videos we have finished with the low pass Butterworth filter and high pass Butterworth filter. So first, what is a band pass filter? A band pass filter has a pass band between two cutoff frequencies FH and FL, such that FH is greater than FL and any frequency outside this pass band is attenuated. So this is the basic thing that we need to know about a band pass filter, and the name is already suggesting band pass. So a band of frequencies is passed, otherwise it is stopped, and the band of frequencies lie between FH and FL, where FH is greater than FL. We need to take note of this, that FH is greater than FL is a criteria for band pass filter. For a band pass filter, Q is equal to Fc by bandwidth, or Fc is by Fh minus Fl. The bandwidth is basically the range of frequencies Fh to Fl. So it is given by Fh minus Fl. Q is the quality factor, that is basically determines the frequency selectivity of a network, is determined by the quality factor. And Fc over here is the center frequency. Center frequency means it is approximately the mid frequency between Fh and Fl. So that is the center frequency. And bandwidth, when we say, it is basically the 3 dB bandwidth, because FH and FL, because if you go by the definition of FH, it is the high cutoff frequency of low pass filter, and FL is the low cutoff frequency of high pass filter. In both cases, it is defined as the frequency at which the value is 0.707 of AF. That means it rolls down to a value of 3 dB, 3 dB down the maximum value AF. So it is known as the entire range FH and to FL is 3 dB bandwidth. And there are two types of band pass filter: wide band pass, narrow band pass. Now we'll go one by one. Wide band pass. When do we call a band pass filter wide? When it is covering the pass band is covering a huge range of frequencies. That means the selectivity, frequency selectivity has to be less, because if it is more selective, it will go narrow or constricted. Instead, we need the quality factor should be such that it allows a lot of frequencies. So the quality factor here, actually the definition wise we do not have a fixed definition, but as far as the design is considered, we know that in a band pass filter with the figure of merit or quality factor Q less than 10 is called wide band pass, and the center frequency for wide band pass filter is given as under root of FH/FL. FH is high cutoff, FL is low cutoff frequency. Now we go and look into the designing procedure, because we know we have talked about designing low pass filter, high pass filter, the Butterworth filters, first order, second order, for both the cases. Now we go about designing high pass filter, especially the wide band pass. Now the first thing is, we know that it is based on two cutoff frequencies FH and FL. So it is basically somehow a combination of low pass and high pass filters. So if we cascade a high pass filter and a low pass filter section, then we obtain a wide band pass filter. For this case, we have to understand that since FH is greater than FL, that is the uh, high pass filter has to be placed first as compared to the low pass, then it has to be subjected to the low pass filter. So that is how we have to place, the placement is important. And the next thing is that the design, since we know how to design low pass and then and high pass also, so designing the low and high will be enough. Only first the input will be fed to high pass filter, and the output of the high pass filter will be fed to the low pass filter. This is how it will go. So it cascading it. Now for uh, obtaining a plus minus 20 dB per decade band pass, we need to use first order high pass and first order low pass sections, and then connect in series. And to obtain for plus minus 40 dB per decade band pass, we need second order high pass and then second order low pass in cascaded or in series. So the order of the band pass filter basically depends upon the order of the high pass and low pass sections, because plus minus 20 dB per decade, the roll up and roll down that we talk about, is for first order, plus minus 40 dB per decade is for second order, what we have observed for low pass and high pass filters. So effectively it will be this. Now just take a look at the circuit. As I said, for a plus minus 20 dB decade wideband filter, if you see, this is the high pass filter section, then comes the low pass filter section. So input is fed to the high pass filter, C is at the input and R over here in the shunt arm. Obviously RF and R1 are kept same so that we have a passband gain of 2 because this is non-inverting. The entire design is same as that for high pass, and only thing is that the main input is being applied over here, and then the output of this high pass filter is being fed to the input of the low pass filter section. If you see low pass filter section, again it is the same thing, only the RC are interchange and RF and R1 are same, so we are just naming it R1 dash and RF dash because we have named it R1 and RF over here. Otherwise the entire thing is same. The both have the passband gain of 2 also, because when we see at the design it is 10 kilo ohm 10 kilo ohm, so it is RF by R1 is 1, so 1 plus RF by R1 becomes 2, so effectively both have the passband gain of 2 and it will be just pass through. Effectively what happens is, any input frequency that is actually being signal is being applied, when the frequency is changing actually from low side to high side, this is a high pass filter, so initially this particular filter won't allow the frequencies to pass because it is low. It objects or rejects the low signals, low frequency signals, and after the signal attains FH, so since it is not allowing any signal to across this, so at the final output also, because no signal is actually crossing in through, so we'll not have much of output there. But when the signal frequency of V in increases or just touches beyond FH, that is the cutoff frequency, FL, that is the cutoff frequency of high pass filter, then what we have is the frequencies or the signal is then it starts conducting actually, and it allows the signals. Once it is being allowed, this is a low pass filter section, and if it has a cutoff frequency FH, so which is quite away, so it is a low pass filter, so it will allow all the frequencies before FH, so it will allow and the output will be appearing. Once the signal frequency reaches FH, now all the signals are being passed through because now it is high pass over here, so anything beyond FL will be passed through over here. When it comes, it is subjected to low pass filter until FH, it will pass, but once the signal frequency reaches FH, it will again cut, because now the low pass filter won't allow any frequencies beyond FH. So effectively the summed output will be, here we are not adding in as in such, but the signal is being fed since they are in cascade, so the effective output will be such that we have a band of frequencies which will be allowed from FL to FH. Okay, so this is the response of this section, or rather if you see, is the response of the high pass filter, and this response is of the low pass filter. Only that if you see that the frequencies up till FH are allowed for low pass and frequencies after FL are allowed for high pass, so we have to accordingly design. And here you see this is the plus 20 dB per decade because this is rolling up, the slope is positive, and here it is minus 20 dB per decade because it is rolling down. And the range of frequencies FL to FH, this is the point where it attains 0.707 of AFT, that is the effective total passband gain. So it is this, and again 0.707 of AFT. So this is FH. So this is why we are calling FH to FL, FL to FH, FH minus FL is a 3 dB bandwidth. Okay, so this is all about the wide band pass filter. Now we come to narrow band pass filter. For narrow band pass, obviously the criteria again becomes the selectivity, frequency selectivity, because it will the band pass filter that we are talking of, which should be narrow, means it should select only a few frequencies and not beyond that. It should have higher selectivity, so the quality factor should be greater. That is the basic understanding that we need to have. So the bandpass filter with a figure of merit or quality factor Q greater than 10 is called narrow band pass filter. Here the output voltage peaks at the center frequency. That means it does not have a huge pass band. It is quite obvious that when frequency selectivity strongly increases, that means the maximum voltage will be appearing at one particular frequency only, and there will be slight roll down roll up on both sides, so there will be a very small thin band that will be passed through. Okay, now the design is absolutely different from the rest of the filters that we have studied till now. The narrow band pass filter uses one op amp, and it is unique in the following aspects. First, it has two feedback paths. We'll just look into the figure, but we just need to look at these points also before we take a look at the figure circuit. Now, since it has two feedback paths, it is known as multiple feedback filter. And the op amp that is used, one op amp is used, and that op amp is used in inverting mode. If you just take a look back, then we have used low pass filter, high pass filter, the op amps that have been used, even in the band pass, every time it is in the non inverting mode. This time for the narrow band pass filter, we are using inverting mode of op amp, and one op amp is used and it is in the inverting mode. The center frequency can be changed to new frequency without changing the gain or bandwidth. This is the advantage or flexibility of narrow band pass filter. And to obtain this, the change in frequency that can be achieved, actually what we do is we just change the value of one resistor by the new value, and the new value is obtained as R2 dash, which is equal to R2, the original value of that resistor, times the ratio, that is of the old frequency to new frequency, center frequency we are talking about, squared. So R2 FC by FC dash whole square is the new value of the resistor. If we just change the value of the resistor, the automatically the center frequency changes, so we can tune it very easily. So these are the specialities of narrow band pass filter. Now just take a look at this circuit. We are talking about two feedback paths. So if you see, the input is first applied to the op amp in the inverting input terminal. So this is, and the non-inverting is grounded. So this is inverting mode that we are using of the op amp. Another R and C is placed over here, yes, and one feedback path is from this place. After R1, C2 goes in, connects to the output, so it is one feedback path. The other is after this point node we have C1, and after C1 we have another point where we are taking and actually connecting another feedback resistor R2, which is connected to V0, again back to just in front of the inverting input terminal. So there are two feedback paths, two parallel feedback paths actually. So effectively we will say R1 and C1 are applied in series at the input terminal, and C2 and R2 are in parallel as the feedback in the feedback path. So for the analysis part, circuit analysis part, obviously if you go by the signal theory, then R1, the signal comes over here, branches out to C2 and C1, which again goes in the C1 path, it goes through R3. So it is basically C1 and R3 in series appearing in parallel to C2, which is in series with R1 for the circuit analysis part. But the feedback paths, there are two paths, so there is multiple feedback. So when we talk about designing the filter, whenever for any filter, we need to understand that to design any filter we need to know the pass band, the cutoff frequencies and all that. For a band pass filter we just need to know the center frequency. For wide band we need to know both the cutoff frequencies FH and FL, but for narrow band pass we need to know only the center frequency, that is the exact frequency that we need to select. So because it is a narrow band pass filter, so for FC and Q, that is the frequency selectivity also should be known to us. If FC and Q are not known to us, then in that case we have to know FC and bandwidth, and Q is equal to FC by bandwidth. There is a relation. So Q is equal to FC by bandwidth comes in over here. So even if you are given FC and Q, then it's good. Otherwise FC and bandwidth, it's the same. The two informations are required, FC and Q or FC and bandwidth. Now to simplify the design, what we do in the circuit, we have C1 and C2, we place it to be, once we have actually the center frequency idea and the quality factor that is required, we place it accordingly that C1 is equal to C2, which has the same value C. Now we determine the value of the three resistors. If you see, there are three resistors, R1, R2 and R3. R3, if you see, is again connected over here. So there are no different resistances that are used. So three resistance values that we need to know. So the formula that we use is R1 is equal to Q by 2 pi FC C times AF. Here AF is not the passband gain. AF is told as the gain at the center frequency. Okay. So we do not have a passband gain over here. Rather, only the when the output voltage is maximum, it peaks at the center frequency. So we'll have the maximum gain AF at the center frequency. So AF is the value of the gain at the center frequency. Next, R2, it is Q divided by 2 pi FCC. Instead of just AF, it will be 2Q square minus AF. And R3 is Q by pi FCC. Since the entire derivation of this equation becomes a little cumbersome over here to discuss, so we have just placed in the formula so that we can calculate it and put in. For the elaborate analysis, we can have a look later on. Otherwise, we just for the designing part, we just need to understand that we'll take the two capacitors will have same value, and accordingly we'll put in the value of C and obtain R1, R2 and R3. And this is the R2 that we were talking about. If we change the value of R2, need to change the value, change to a new frequency, then we need to change the value of R2, and R2 will be changed to a new value by multiplied by the square of the ratio of the old frequency to new frequency, center frequencies. So this is the designing procedure. If you look at the frequency response, obviously gain versus frequency, this is how the response goes. Basically, at the center frequency, the maximum voltage appears. Otherwise, there is no point where you have the maximum gain or the maximum output voltage. So it increases, keep increasing. At one point, it is maximum, and that particular frequency corresponds to FC, and then it again falls down. So the bandwidth actually that we consider is again 0.07 of AF, and that is FL to FH. And here for designing part, we don't need to know the FH and FL. We just need to know the center frequency. Now here that I already said that AF is the gain at FC, and it is given by, how do we find the AF? That is R3 by twice R1. The circuit decides the value of this gain, and it should satisfy the condition AF is less than 2Q square. This should be there. So effectively, we almost complete the entire thing. Questions as far as it is concerned, it is for band pass filter, what is band pass, the classification of band pass, steps to design wide band pass, steps to design narrow band pass, the speciality of narrow band pass filters, and the frequency response of narrow band pass filter. These are review questions. Whatever we discussed right now can be actually summarized if you answer this. So I'll stop here.